5.
Listen.
You're a wizard, Harry.
4.
Why so serious?
3.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
We have a hope.
2.
Show me your moves.
I'm Groot.
1.
What's that flashing? We're losing our deflector shield. Don't trap yourselves in. I'm going to make the jump to light speed.
Go!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the Random Fandom Show. I'm your host, Matt Mewich.
I'm Josh Mewich.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Dan.
Hello, Dan.
My man.
My name's Sam.
Oh, hello, Sam.
Sam's a little shy.
My name's Jeff.
We also have Adam on the sound. There is no Jeff.
Sound.
All right, everybody.
Okay, let's do this.
Today, we are talking about the Avengers 2.
Age of Ultron.
Oh. But first, let's get into the news.
This week in Star Wars news, today is May the 4th. Be with you. And today, Vanity Fair released a thing that was just a bunch of stuff about the new movie. So we know a lot of characters, we know a lot of actors that are playing the characters, and stuff is crazy. There's a lot of cool shots of like Poe Dameron on his X-Wing. We now know that Lupita Nyong'o's character is going to be...
I peed in the mango?
No. Lupita Nyong'o.
I'm never going to think of that name the same way.
I peed in the mango.
You ruined it. You just done ruined it.
She's a motion capture. She's going to be an alien, and she's being motion captured for that. Just like so motion capture is like Smeagol. If you think Lord of the Rings are
the OG
Avatar
motion
stuff.
capture.
We now know who Kylo Ren is. But yeah, so a lot of things about the new Star Wars movie came out. If you want to check out the Vanity Fair issue about that, check it out.
It doesn't seem like the magazine that would have Star Wars information.
It's really weird. They've been putting a lot of like releases and like leaks on like Entertainment Weekly and stuff, and like Vanity Fair.
I don't like how this Disney thing's going. We need to go back to Lucasfilms.
Well, hey. Let's at least watch the movies first, and then.
Yeah, I guess it can't be worse than the Phantom Menace. That's for sure.
Oh, you just smart.
I like the Phantom Menace.
Okay, we're not talking about this.
We're not talking about that. Not this
You
episode.
also like Jar Jar Binks.
No.
Good.
I did at one point.
He was my favorite character when I was a kid. But I like Qui-Gon now.
Okay, Ultron.
Moving on. No, more news.
Okay, more news.
Okay.
I'll go to Super Smash Brothers. All right, so Mewtwo was released for Super Smash Brothers. He's pretty cool. Yeah, he's as Mewtwo as ever. It's nice to have a DLC
What is that
character.
even supposed to mean?
That is good to know. He is as Mewtwo
He
gets.
flies and
Levitates.
throws balls.
Yes, he throws shadow balls.
So he has a tail.
He has a tail.
Good,
He whips
good.
it around.
Good.
Like his hair. She doesn't have.
He's
I
the
whip my
only
tail
character that
back
doesn't
and
have
forth.
custom moves at this point. Actually, someone like kind of semi-hacked the game to like unlock his custom moves, but they were just like broken, glitchy things that destroyed the game. So he doesn't have customs yet.
So maybe that's one of his moves is
Destroy
self-destruct
the
the game. I hope that he turns people into stone, like in the movie.
That was a combination of Mew and Mewtwo. You need to have them both.
Well, maybe he pulls Mew out of his butt or something, and then he
Awesome.
turned to stone.
That's it for my news. What's next?
Do you have any, Nick?
My news is I watched the Avengers, and I'm really excited to talk about it.
All right.
We have more news. Dan, go ahead.
I have two short things. They released the actual picture of Deadshot with the whole outfit, and he
Thank
looks
God.
pretty sweet, except the eye is on the wrong eye. I don't know what they're planning to do with it. If it's just like part of the mask or what. It looks cool, but it's just the wrong eye.
And that's not like the other eye in the comic book. It's like, no, he's got his rifle in one hand, and he'd have to really tilt his head to make that work.
So I don't know if it's just like part of the mask
Is
and it's
that-
the other eye and it'll work correctly.
I thought about that,
or
and is that going to be just like his like targeting eye, and then
Yeah,
he like
yeah.
actually takes the shot,
That-
and that's just his like superpower is like really good with his normal eye, and then that's just the one to help. I don't know.
see, yeah, I don't know, but see, I thought that they'd at least like explain it, but they didn't. So I want to know what that is. But I mean, it looks really sweet.
I'm so glad it's the full mask.
And then the other thing is they released a concept art for Angel for X-Men Apocalypse, and it's Archangel, and he's got this metal wings, and it looks just freaking sweet. It looks so cool.
With the Deadshot photo, they also released the full Suicide Squad photo, and it looks really cool.
Yeah. So from the looks, it looks pretty good.
Pretty good.
So.
Captain Boomerang doesn't look like an idiot, too. So.
With a little mini skirt and
Captain Boomerang looks cool in the Flash and Arrow crossover
Right.
that they did. He looks pretty sweet, and he's pretty deadly too with his like knife boomerangs that kill people. So that's cool.
But that's it for news. So let's get down
to the real news.
to the real. Well, not. Yeah, to the real news. To the movie. To Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
What?
Damn.
As you watched it with us.
Dan.
I hope you're kidding. Like, you can't do a show about Age of Ultron if you haven't seen it.
No, I only watched it like 3 times. So
Oh, just a heads up. Is this going to be spoilers?
Yes.
Are
Yeah.
there going to be spoilers?
Very
in this?
much.
very heavy spoilers. Very heavy.
Because I actually want to talk about this movie.
Yeah.
So, clarification.
It was probably the best dad, but the worst dad.
Very much so.
Okay.
So, first opinions. I think it was absolutely incredible and was smiling throughout the entire movie.
It met my expectations, which were very high,
Yes.
and it hit them very well.
I don't understand how. I do, because it's the Avengers. But it's like, how on earth are they going to top the first one? And they did in every single way, like humor, action, villains. Yes, it was awesome.
It was good. It was really good. It was amazing. Not the best movie I've ever seen. Just wanted to say that.
Well, duh. Lord
I-
of the
Yeah,
Rings
it was,
is.
yeah, it was really good.
I thought it was really good. And especially for like, I didn't know what was gonna happen. Like, even though they showed a lot through the trailers, but they still, like, you still weren't sure like what the story was gonna be. And it was really cool to see that play out in the way I didn't expect it to play out. Is it better than the first one? I don't know. I'm gonna have to watch it like at least 3 more times to see if it's like. And what I mean by that is like, it's a great movie. It's a great movie, but I just don't know if it captured like my heart like the first Avengers captured my heart in a weird way. Yeah.
Oh gosh, I wish this was a video show. I really
Yes,
do.
the heart on my shirt. Yes, okay.
When talking about the trailers, I thought that I saw the entire movie with the trailers. They really showed a lot, and I didn't like that. And I thought this would be just, I would know everything that happened. Surprisingly, I didn't. And it was really good. I didn't know the entire plot, and there were a lot of things that I didn't see in the trailer, and it was very refreshing and good.
To add to that, the trailer made it seem like the opening scene in the movie was like the final battle scene. And to see the movie open with that scene, I was just like, okay, everything that I thought this movie was going to be was already a lie. So, like, right there, I was like, oh, like, I had no idea what was going on. And that was really cool to see, like, oh, what I thought was the end is now actually the beginning. So that was really cool.
Sam, what do you think?
Yep. I honestly don't know very much about the Avengers. Still a big fan. So I don't know much about like the overall like backstory of a lot of stuff, and my mind was racing like crazy when I was watching it because of other stuff. So I'm gonna have to watch it a couple more times. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and it was funny. It was very entertaining. Perfect combination of action,
definitely.
dialogue, everything. It was everything I expected. It was solid.
So,
One thing about this movie that I loved is it made me like every single one of them more. Because I was like, I love Captain America. I didn't until the Winter Soldier. So that he was already taken care of, but he's still awesome in that. didn't really like Iron Man all that much, even through all the movies and the first Avengers. But like, I don't know. Tony Stark kind of changed a little bit in this movie. I feel like.
Well, I think it started in Iron Man 3. You know,
yeah,
you could start to see a change of like he wasn't invincible anymore.
I never saw him as like that, but it's just like his personality. Like he isn't like a complete self-centered douche the whole time. And he's more team orientated.
Like his like personality wasn't like he didn't think he was invincible anymore. You know, there was that part where he was like, "Oh, like I actually have, like I'm not invincible." Like I didn't mean him as like a hero, but him as like a person.
Mm-hmm. And then everyone knows that was just kind of like about Thor, and Thor didn't have a huge part in this. Like he kind of went off for a little bit and then came back. And then he played some, but I don't know, something about it. I liked Thor more, so that's cool.
I think it might have been the dialogue at the party, probably at the beginning.
That was great.
That was
There's so many
good.
different scenes though, and let me tell you, Captain America and Thor combo, all day,
Bromance,
so good,
all day.
They are just bromancing it up. Whether it's when they're drinking together with the scene with Stan Lee in it, or when they're fighting together and Thor hits Cap's shield into like a bunch of Ultron robots. It's just their chemistry together is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
The two Chris's.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to Tony Stark, I wanted to say that they didn't seem to show as much of the inner struggle as they did in like Iron Man 3 of Tony Stark.
But this is an ensemble movie.
He was freaking out. I know, but they did show it a little bit when Scarlet Witch touched on his fear, and his fear of like, there's a bigger universe, I need to take care of it, I need to do something about it. That's what showed it, but you didn't see him as distraught about it.
Another part where you could see him kind of break down slightly was when he found out that Ultron was a thing, and like everyone was talking to him about it, and then he just laughed.
Oh yeah, he kind of went a little crazy.
That was like truly he was understanding what he'd done, but he wasn't really understanding like what the consequences were, and he just couldn't believe what was happening.
On that note, but thanks for having me, guys, and look forward to hearing this when it's finished.
Thanks,
it's
Sam.
probably going to be like the most listened to podcast ever
of all time.
Yeah,
I was on it.
Right.
I know. We only needed you for that long too. Like we didn't need you for the full show because otherwise it would have broken the internet.
We also can't pay for that long.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Wow.
You lucked out. I'm in a good mood today. Hey, may the force be with you. Have a good show.
May the force be with you too, Sam. One thing, again, with Tony Stark, in Iron Man 3, I really liked how they showed Tony Stark as not Iron Man, but the mechanic. I really loved that. And there was the one scene where he was going into the barn, and he walks up to the tractor and he says, "Hello, dear." And now I laughed before anybody else did in the theater, and I laughed really hard because it was a John Deere tractor. But I'm like, yes, we get to see the mechanic back, and we get to see him just funnel all of his frustration and all of his like. That's how he's going to get back into the right mindset, is to go in and to start be a mechanic. But then Nick Fury showed up, and that didn't happen.
Talk to me about authority.
And I was not happy with that. I'm like, oh, what? I wanted to see the mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to know who is everyone's favorite character?
Oh man,
I'll go first because I know who it is.
Yeah,
I'm going with Vision. So Vision was someone that I've always liked reading the comics. Like he's not a huge part of, like he's a huge part of the Avengers and who the Avengers are, and but like recent history, he hasn't really been like a huge part in kind of like the comics, or at least in like the new Avengers storyline that I've been reading. But to see him like in action was so sweet. Like when I heard that Paul Bettany was being the actor for him, I wasn't sure, just because like I've seen him in a couple of things and he's a good actor, but I just didn't put him as like Vision. So when he came out, and I was really nervous, and right away when they like unleashed Vision, and Like, you couldn't tell if he was good or bad right away.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was cool, because, like, right away in the comics, Vision's bad, you know, because Ultron creates him. And then, but as soon as he picked Thor's hammer up
Oh my gosh!
and flipped it around and gave it to Thor, everyone's face was like,
Everyone in
What?
the theater,
that was so cool. Because,
collective gasp.
and because they were joking on earlier, and like Cap moved it, and he's like, "See, you're all just not worthy." And then just the jokes throughout the movie about like that he lifted up Thor's hammer, and
So if an elevator, you put it on an elevator, you push it up. Elevator's not
elevator
worthy?
yeah, yeah, it's just like, and I mean that just goes with the great humor of the Avengers. But Vision, I thought they did Vision really well. They like putting the mind gem in his head. That was cool. Like that was a great way to think about it. It kind of scares me because that means that Vision might have to die, which you know Tony Stark could put a different energy source in there or something like that. So it doesn't mean that he's going to die, but like just I get the whole character of Vision. I wasn't sure if I'd like it, and I loved it. So I was super pumped with that.
My favorite character, and I don't know really why, is Bruce Banner and the Hulk in this movie. I think it might just be because we saw more of him than because I mean this is only the second movie. Well, I don't count the Iron Man 3 tidbit.
The cameo.
Yeah, the cameo. But I don't know. I thought that him struggling with being the Hulk a little bit more was better, and I like that. Also, him and his logical decisions with Natasha as Black Widow and their relationship and stuff. The way he acted with Natasha when they were flirting at the beginning was hilarious.
Yeah.
And
Classic science boy.
And I just kind of like how him and Tony Stark work together a little bit. Like, just how Tony Stark just kind of pushes over his work, and he's just like, what'd you do that for? But the only one thing that I didn't like about Bruce Banner was that he let Tony Stark build basically Ultron twice with Vision. Like, he was okay with it. And just like the whole pat on the shoulders and be like, hey, we're mad scientists. This is what we do. I don't buy that into him, being okay with making another.
Well, see, I think, I didn't really, like, right away, I was like, well, he should, like, I was waiting for him to, like, bust out into the Hulk and be like, no, we're not doing this. But then, I think, like, at that point, like, Ultron's virtually unstoppable.
Right.
And so, it was like, I think the only reason, I think what he was saying was like, the only way we're going to beat Ultron is to create another Ultron.
Yeah, I think you're right with that. And I think he was also okay that it was Jarvis that they were putting in instead of an unknown AI. So I think that was a lot better. So, I mean, I can see how it goes, but it still bugs me a little bit.
Yeah.
My favorite character was Ultron. I really loved how the different take they did, because I mean, in the comics I hear that he was like more serious and like just more. He seemed like more pure evil in general, but in this he was like, he almost seemed like a kid at times, like throwing tantrums and stuff.
Yeah, in the comics, Ultron has a little bit more of a, I'm going to destroy the world because I hate it.
No, it was the same.
Well,
It was the same.
Yeah, but it was it was kind of the like, Ultron's kind of darker in the comics, and they kind of lighted him up a little bit, which is fine. Lit him up. I don't know however you want to say that, but like it was more like in the movie. It was kind of more, I'm gonna save the world by destroying it. It was kind of more in that tone. It was kind of like the childish tone. I guess I'd take that. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
You wanted the like really serious.
I
one
did.
from
In the trailer, I was
trailers.
like, "Oh man,
Yeah.
Ultron is gonna be
I
sinister, dark, and
Terrifying.
terrifying." And
Well, he was creepy.
he was
Yeah,
creepy
here's
because they
the-
added the facial expression kind of part of it too, which I was like, would it worked out because they changed him up a little bit. And the humor that he has is great, but it's like, it just wasn't what I was expecting and wasn't what I brought into the theater, which I shouldn't have brought into, but still, in the comics, he is unstoppable. Like, he's terrifying. Like, it's no remorse, relentless, like, craziness. So, I think that they did keep true to that graphic novel, at least, which is the one that I'm referring to, that I like him the most in. So I don't know. I don't have anything. he didn't live up to my expectations, but he's still by far the best Marvel villain.
Yeah. Well,
Which
how
isn't
I think,
hard, in my opinion.
how I
but-
think about he acted exactly like Iron Man's persona, like what he wanted, but but twisted because he wasn't like a complete program.
I know.
It was just like if it was to become something, that's exactly what he would be. Just like kind of like perfect in only some ways, but like so broken in other ways. It's just amazing.
Well, they added Tony Stark persona to him.
Yeah.
So and you could see that, which is again plays into that humor. Again, though, I didn't bring that expectation in, and I was pleasantly surprised, but again, a little disappointed.
You made a comment that you said Ultron was the best Marvel villain by far, and I honestly don't think so. I think that the Kingpin is honestly the better of the Marvel.
Gosh, I'm not talking about the
We're
show.
talking about Marvel Cinematic Universe.
It's in the cinematic universe.
It's not.
It's cinema. We're talking
Movies? Okay. Well, still.
But they
Marvel
are
Marvel
leaving,
villains.
at this moment they're leaving it kind of tied in, but not really. We're talking about Daredevil.
Well, yeah, but you just overall Marvel. I think that Kingpin has a more menacing on-screen presence than.
Well, he
Ultron
does have 7 episodes that he's in probably to work with that. Ultron has a 2.
No, the first episode it was much more scary to see the Kingpin than it was for
again,
Ultron.
but Daredevil is a darker, TV
True,
show.
but for I'm just.
I know what you're saying. Yeah. But you pin Kingpin against Ultron.
Oh, of course, but I'm just saying more menacing on-screen presence is.
Yeah,
the Kingpin
I
for
don't
me.
argue that, but I think that Ultron is the best cinematic villain.
Oh yeah.
All right, who's yours?
Hawkeye. Everyone always made the joke about Hawkeye being useless and, he's probably going to be the one to die. And I didn't mind him in the first Avengers. I thought he was cool.
I really liked his character in the first Avengers. That suited the movie well.
Yeah.
And he was mind controlled for part of it.
Yeah, I know. And that's another problem that people have. It's like, we didn't see Hawkeye be a part of the Avengers for very long. But anyway, now he is. And he got injured a couple times. And I was like, oh man, they're taking him out again. But no, that just led into the Cradle stuff, which they needed to introduce. His humor is great. I loved it. And we got to see a whole nother level with him and his secret family, which was, I liked it.
I think the best part about Hawkeye was the Hawkeye Pietro rivalry the whole entire movie.
Oh, that was great.
Him
with Quicksilver.
Yeah, it started out when Quicksilver hit his arrow away, and that's how he got shot in the opening scene. And then from when he put the electric arrow on
Scarlet Witch.
Wanda's head, and then it just escalated from there.
And then
it was
the bullet
awesome.
through the glass of Quicksilver, and then there's
Use the bullet.
There's so much other things.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great.
And then, I think the funniest part of the whole entire movie was when Quicksilver grabbed Wanda and was like,
hurry up, old man.
Yeah, hurry up, old man, and took off. And he just took his voice like,
no
one would know. No one would know. Like, great kid. I don't know how he went out, but great kid. just like that whole part where he's like, no one would know. Except he's like, it has an arrow in his
quick
back.
little or something like that.
Yeah.
That's what he says.
Yeah, it was hilarious. And yeah, Hawkeye was great.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite parts about this movie was how Hawkeye's wife was like, no, you have to be on the Avengers. It's not like you have to be here with me. Stop being an Avenger.
Oh my gosh, I'm so
how
glad they
most
didn't do that.
most superhero families go. She's like, no, you need to be there. You're the only one that's human on that team. Basically,
they need you.
They need you to stay human and to keep them glued together because they'll fall apart. You can see it right outside as Captain America and Iron Man are chopping wood.
And then
like a boss.
What?
Don't take any from my pile.
And then the scene with the speech with Wanda, just great.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, I have a bow and arrow. We're fighting robots. Oh, it's great. I loved it. And then another huge thing caught me completely off my surprise was the death of the death of Quicksilver.
Yeah.
Just came out of nowhere because they foreshadowed Hawkeye's death throughout the whole movie. Like he kept getting injured, and then it was an interaction between him and his wife, which is like, oh boy,
She's like,
started building up.
He basically said, "This is the last time."
Yeah, this is the last time. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then when they're in the town, and I don't know if they were up in the air at that point or if they're still on the ground. But like he steps off that hovercraft or whatever, and you can hear the bell tolling. Like, oh boy, no! And then like
he has
the
to go grab
interaction.
his kid, and then
It
it's
was like there's like 3 big foreshadowing things. I was like, he's gonna freaking die. And then out of nowhere, the very end, they kill off Quicksilver. I was like, well, thank God. But like, holy cow! Didn't see that coming at all. And
Quicksilver
then
was like one of their best assets. I
and
mean,
then
he's
Quicksilver's
so
like, I bet you didn't see that coming. Like, you're right, I didn't.
Yeah, he was like talking to us. I think he said that during the movie. He was like he was talking to the whole entire crowd. Didn't see that one coming. And we're just like, nope, you got us.
and then he dies, and then it's just like, oh, great. Well,
Awesome.
We don't know he's just dead.
Yeah, they better keep
He's
him dead.
pretty-
well, I
and
mean, you
of
did introduce
anyone.
the whole cradle thing,
but they destroyed it.
but the lady's still alive. She can.
I'm sure they didn't have another prototype or anything
Yeah.
around.
Just
Although-
keep him dead, please.
Yeah, please.
Talking about Quicksilver's death, I really love that they killed an Avenger. Like it honestly,
Well,
like
we don't love it, but we love that they
No.
aren't afraid
No, I
to
do.
kill off.
I honestly love that they killed off an Avenger because like everything in just mainstream movies and everything is
Except
just
for Game of Thrones.
well, yeah,
movies,
but they just like they kind of have this thing that was like, hey, if you're a good guy, like you don't like everyone around you will die, but you won't die, you know. But in this, it's just like no, like people die, and like I didn't want it to be Quicksilver, but I don't want it to be anyone,
right.
honestly. So, like I really like that they did that though, just to show like, hey, like this is just a foreshadowing. Like even though as much as I don't want a ton of people to die during Infinity Wars, like people are gonna die. People are gonna die.
Oh, they have
They
to.
better.
And we don't mean that as in like we want all these characters to die, but just like
there
it
needs to
happens.
be some sort of like gravity to what they're doing.
Exactly,
Right.
gravity. You have to further the plot and the timeline of things by these deaths. You can't just go along and have everybody living and then it's done.
You also need to build some suspense
Right.
and actually have that suspense
Make it
mean something.
Yeah, make it mean something. And I think that's what this death did. It made Scarlet Witch be an Avenger even more so. Make sure that she wanted to protect life. She got over being, Tony Stark, that whole thing.
Yeah.
And then now she's training with the Avengers, and it's
The new Avengers.
the new Avengers. And so this is, I mean, it added a bunch of weight to it. The death meant something, and it's a good thing. I like how they had Hawkeye and Quicksilver when they were laying down, kind of next to each other, and it was sort of symmetrical. Sort of looking
I thought that Hawkeye's gonna die again, or
Right
die
there.
too.
right there.
It's like, oh man, they're gonna kill
Two of them?
two
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, because he was like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "Not my blood," or something like that. And then
on his hand, yeah.
yeah, because he had blood all over him, Quicksilver's blood.
Mm.
But yeah, it was. I really liked how they did that, and like, okay, what do you guys not like about the movie?
There wasn't much.
No,
But
it's hard to find.
Nitpicking. One thing I noticed, if that whole town was rising up in the air, after a while people wouldn't be able to breathe because they were so high elevation.
Although they were taking people off too, so I mean, yeah, people wouldn't be able to breathe, but
But it was just something I thought of.
yeah.
Well, it
I know,
was
yeah,
above
that's true.
clouds.
Well,
so
yeah,
that-
but clouds can be.
I know, but
it's
the
really
air is
cold
pretty. Yeah, the
and-
air is pretty. Their lungs are not.
They're
prepared
they're
for that.
already in the mountains.
Well, maybe
right?
Captain America's lungs and Thor's lungs.
Again, this is nitpicking.
I know, yeah.
One thing that I noticed is that Ultron was relatively easy to beat once they all teamed up on him.
He's relatively easy to beat once Jarvis took away him from the internet.
Well, okay, not
The
Jarvis.
Vision.
Vision,
Yeah.
but Jarvis was protecting the internet from
Yeah.
him as well, which greatly helped because he could have just stored himself. Actually, it's still possible that he did store himself away in some warehouse or
No,
something.
Jarvis or the Vision would have picked that up.
Oh, I'm just saying, there's a possibility for him to come back in the future somehow.
Right? They didn't foreshadow it or anything.
Right.
So.
And I am sick of bad guys coming back.
Right.
I'm sick of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I just love the end of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. the first season. He's just like,
Don't spoil it. We haven't seen it.
okay, fine.
It's
But
pretty funny.
It's hilarious. So, but yeah. Did you have anything
The
else?
thing that I don't like, besides, and I'm not saying I don't even like it, the Ultron thing. I'm gonna put that off to the side because I've already explained it. But I did not like the Hulk Black Widow relationship. I didn't like it in the trailers, and I didn't really like it. Again, the interaction between them in the first portion of the movie was good, but I was just like, wait, so you both... Black Widow thinks she's a monster, so she wants to be with the monster of the group. And then it just kind of came out of nowhere. Because we came off the impression that Hawkeye and Black Widow were a thing.
Yeah.
Which I could see, but I also kind of saw them in the Avengers as friends that understood each other, which is fine. I really like when people do that, 'cause so many people assume, like, oh, they have to be a couple.
No, and then they did show that as she was like Aunt Natasha to the kids and stuff. It was they did a really good job of that.
But again, I just thought that the whole relationship between her and the Hulk kind of came out of nowhere.
I agree with you.
I really enjoyed it.
I mean, I agree with you. It came out of nowhere, but I did enjoy it actually.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a heck of a lot worse than it was.
Yeah.
Like, if they're going to have it in there, they handled it so well.
And they kind of did because I mean, Bruce Banner went through that logically and was like, "No, this probably won't work."
Yeah, I think Bruce Banner handled the whole thing fine. And I mean, I would probably act the same way if Black Widow was hitting on me too. But her portion of it, I don't get it.
I think the part that we have to remember is that she saw her past, which she's not in any way proud of. And
Yeah.
it scares her to death.
Mm-hmm.
Because, of everything that she's gone through, like, it's insane how much, like, I mean, she was trained at, like, what, 6 or, 5 to be a spy and kill people?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and so I think just her, like, knowing that, and, like, she just wants, like, they both kind of want what they can have. In theory.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I understand all of that. I understand what they were doing with the relationship. I just didn't. It just came out of nowhere, and it just was like that. Because right from the beginning, we just get this like, oh, Black Widow likes Hulk, and then Hulk's kind of awkward about it, and I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it did kind of come out of nowhere. They did. I mean, some people in like the first Avengers was like, oh, they could be a thing, just because she was the one to go and get him. Right.
Traumatized by him.
Yeah. But
I get they kind of played with it in the sense of like she was the one to go calm him down. So that builds a little bit of, depth to it. But again, I don't know.
I really like how it ended too. When Hulk was in the plane and she's like, all right, big guy, like take it off, like take it off the like invisibility or cloak, stealth mode. Like we can't see you. And then he takes it off. She's just like,
turns her up.
I also just love how relaxed Hulk looked in that last scene of him. He looks so at peace.
It's kind of funny because you're like, oh, Bruce Banner he wanted to run away. Bruce Banner wanted to run away. But no, the Hulk also wanted to run away, apparently, because he was in control at that moment. Mm-hmm. And so they had a decision made that they were going to leave together.
Well, because, like, especially because they both know what they did when Scarlet Witch was playing with their mind. Like, they leveled almost probably a whole city.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what was it? Were they still in Africa at the time?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were. So, like, I mean, yeah, the Hulk is like a rage monster, but he still knows, what's going on. To some,
Right. I wonder if anyone will complain about that city being leveled and not Metropolis and Man of Steel.
We're not talking about Man of Steel right now.
Anyways.
There's only like a couple block radius, don't worry about it.
I also wanted to point out that we didn't see what the Hulk's like vision and nightmare was when the Scarlet Witch like messed with his head. I want to know what that was because
that's a good point.
They showed everybody else's. They showed Captain and the dance and stuff in Nazi Germany in World War II, and then they showed Natasha's past, Black Widow as the ballerina school, the assassin school, and then the surgery they kind of showed, and that was awful. And then they showed Thor and how it kind of showed Ragnarok, how the next movie is going to go, sort of, and also Infinity War. and so and then we didn't see anything about the Hulk, but he went nuts. He is the Hulk, but
one thing that the movie that we saw wasn't what Joss Whedon.
No.
Like it wasn't like his complete movie was like 3 hours and 30
3.5
minutes.
hours, 3.5 hours long. And
So like maybe it was in that, and
Which will
I
be in
think-
the Blu-ray extended
Yes, I
cut.
want to see that movie so bad.
Yes.
I love long movies. Like if they have like everything they've wanted in it, I just love those.
Mhm. It's
All right.
understandable that they had
So-
to cut it, but
The thing I didn't like about it was everything that had to do with Nick Fury. His whole point to the movie was kind of didn't make sense.
hey,
Just-
we're all together, and that's okay.
Yeah, and like I mean,
Why were you hiding in the barn?
like okay, I understand. I understand that he wanted to talk to Tony first and be like, Tony, what the hell are you doing? And kind of like talk to him and see what he was coming from. And like, I just thought that he was gonna be a bigger part of it. You know, like by their side, like dual pistols shooting people up, or you know what I mean, or something like that. And like also, like I know like. If anyone who like knows who Nick Fury is from like the comics or anything, they know he has access to pretty much anything. He has like 15 safe houses that has whatever he wants. So like I know how he got the helicarrier because he probably just has one stored somewhere because he's Nick Fury and he's literally ready for everything. But like he is the spy, and so like I'm not saying like where the hell do you get a helicarrier from? But like I just thought he could. Like they could somehow work together
he
more.
came in to give a speech.
Yeah, he like came in to give his classic Samuel L. Jackson speech, and then like I loved him in Avengers because he was a part of the team, you know. But now it was just like, oh hey, what's up guys? Tony, you're an idiot. Go fight Ultron, and then he left and he's like, oh, I got a helicarrier.
And they didn't really play off of what happened in the Winter Soldier
Yeah.
with that too. Was he wearing sunglasses or did he have his eye patch back?
He had his eye patch back.
Yeah, what the heck?
Yeah.
Like really?
I don't know. One thing that I wanted to note that with Nick Fury coming back with the helicarrier, and then the one line that Quicksilver had was like, "Is this what Shield is like?" And then Hawkeye was like, "When it works or whatever."
This is what it's supposed to be like.
Yeah. And then he's like, "That's not so bad." I think that's reintroducing Shield. It might be doing that.
Well, at the end of Agents of Shield, this is a spoiler. The season 1, Nick Fury's like, "Hey Coulson," and he gives him like a shield something, and he's like, "Congratulations, you're the new director of Shield." And
gives him a shield.
Yeah, he gives him just a shield, like Captain America's shield. No, but he basically is like, "Hey, this is like, go restart Shield. You know, do like I trust you. Like out of anyone, I trust you." So Coulson is restarting Shield.
Okay.
To some aspect, like it's still just him and his team basically, but.
And we did also see them take out the last of Hydra and any other Splinter Cell that was with that.
Well, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
One of the other things I didn't like was when Thor went off on his own.
Yeah.
That was one thing that I didn't like about
that
the
was
movie.
another one of those rushed parts that I think had to get cut. It seems so strange.
It seemed like that, but he went to the professor from his movies, and he was like, "Hey, there are these waters that all of a sudden can bring back dreams." And he's like, "Oh, well, you might die," and Thor just goes in there anyways because he's Thor. But we're just like, "Wait, there's these waters? They never introduced that before? What's going on?" And then he sees the thing, and then we don't see him forever. Why was the professor even there? He didn't need to be. He brought him there, yeah, but... No, I thought Thor knew about it. I thought the other guy didn't know about it.
The professor is, I think, he knows a lot of Norse mythology, right? He's like he knows what he's talking about with like that, and so I think Thor didn't know where it was.
And where to find it on Earth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't really...
And
I didn't mind that part because that's set up, like, I understand, like, he saw the Ragnarok vision from which...
Yeah.
It's just the way it was presented in the movie. It just felt very rushed and short and just like, wait, what?
It seemed out of place at the time.
I understand what you're saying. I feel like I like the part, but I feel like if he just would have said, went to Captain America and he's like, "Hey, I need to just give me 5 minutes. I'm gonna go check something out," and then you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like just a little bit of explanation, not just like flying off. Like I understand what you're saying.
Right.
Isn't that what Thor does though?
It's another reason why I won't watch the extended
Yeah.
edition.
Yeah.
The
'cause they'll
director's
probably-
cut.
So I guess what we're saying is buy the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Should probably be like $40 when it comes
Oh,
out.
yeah,
'Cause
it'll be
the
expensive.
first one's still like $30, which is why I haven't bought it yet.
Wait for the dual feature.
Yeah.
I wanted to go back to another thing that I liked about the movie. Was War Machine in it? I kind of liked him. Why?
Damn.
I just
Why are you shaking your head?
I don't like that actor.
Oh, really?
Cheadle?
Don Cheadle. Like the parts with War Machine in the beginning were funny. They were, but I don't. That actor does not get it for me.
I think I like him.
Don Cheadle's War Machine. He seems like just like an old man. Like honestly, I like when I think of War Machine, I think of like Iron Man's sidekick, not like Iron Man's like 50-year-old best friend.
What about how would you feel if the original actor was?
I
War
probably
Machine?
still wouldn't like it.
Really?
Like he was fine in the first couple Iron Man films when he was like 10 years younger.
What if the guy who plays Falcon was War Machine?
Yeah, I'd be fine with that because he's not, and just I don't know, like they haven't played with War Machine at all. Like you're like, wait, why does he still have the armor? Like we don't know anything about War Machine.
Yeah, we really don't.
We know that he used the armor in Iron Man 2, and then he flew in somehow in Iron Man 3, and Iron Patriot is the same thing as War Machine, just different armor.
Yeah, I don't know if they got rid of that after the whole president.
Is this when he was
thing.
painted Patriot colors?
Yeah, when he worked for the
they
government.
had it
Owned by the
before.
government.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like they haven't developed the character at all. Like they developed Sam Wilson. He was Captain America's sidekick in The Winter Soldier, but Iron Patriot comes out of nowhere. He's like, oh yeah, just shoot stuff.
Yeah, I like the parts where he was in actually. So I think he added to it a lot, especially at the
lot?
beginning. Well, no, I think he added to it in the beginning, especially when he was telling the story and the whole Captain America and Thor listening to it, and Thor was like, "Is that it? Oh, that's a good story then." Yes, I liked it. It's a great story. It's just, and then I actually do like his quips to Iron Man and stuff when he's shooting things down, and then when Vision comes and shoots him, and he's just like, "What? What was that?"
You made me think of the part when they're like trying to calm Bruce Banner down. He's like, right, Thor? He's like, yes, destruction is great or whatever.
Oh, yeah, your foes are screaming in the bowels of hell or whatever. and
man.
that's just not what.
Then he's
what
like,
I'm
I'm done. I'm not even going to try anymore. Just that stuff. It took 2 Thor movies didn't make me like Thor, but this movie did. Like, it's weird.
Yeah. Apparently, the next Thor movie is gonna make you like Thor as much as you liked Captain America in
Who's
Winter
directing
Soldier.
it?
I'm not sure, but I heard that that was their goal, is to make him like as.
Well, I heard we're going to see his true potential, too.
The Thor Ragnarok, the comics are really sweet. You guys will have to read them because they're really cool, and like it's really confusing too at the same time. But which Norse mythology I don't know anything about. So, but it's really cool, and I really like the ending. Like it's cool, like just because you just see Thor. You don't see anyone else. You just see Thor. Like there's a couple of people, by his side, like some of his friends, but
Yeah.
you see Thor, and he goes ham, and it's awesome.
That's the thing, too, is everyone's like, the Hulk is the strongest member of the Avengers. It's like, Thor is a god. Well, kinda.
He can deliver blows with the same amount of force with the hammer.
Even more, though, like, if you follow what Thor actually is, like, he can, like, blow up a freaking planet with it.
You're talking about like comics.
I am talking about
MCU,
comics.
Nick.
Yeah!
MCU.
I want to see Thor go ham.
he doesn't. At this moment in time, he does not have that power.
We kind of saw
well,
it
he
in
does, but-
Thor when he first went off to, what was it, Jotunheim, in his own movie. When we see him,
when he took on the Frost Giants?
yeah, when he took on the Frost Giants, we kind of see him go nuts and just break that world apart a little bit. But that was the only time that we saw that.
A little bit.
A little bit, yeah, not as much as you're talking. I don't. I'm not seeing a director for Ragnarok right now.
Okay.
But I'm only looking at IMDb.
Well, because in Thor Ragnarok, Thor gets the Odin power, or is it Odin power?
Something to do with Odin that gives you a lot of power.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, but it's something along those lines, and like he gains like the wisdom of basically life, and you see a very much grown up adult Thor in every aspect, like a matured Thor with definitely matured powers. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what they show off, and I really hope, like, Loki's obviously going to be a part of it, but I just want it to be a Thor movie, not a Loki movie, which I'm kind of afraid of because everyone likes Loki so much. So
For some reason.
I wish that they would have touched maybe more on. Well, they did touch on one thing. They did touch on the Wakanda being a place in.
We got a taste of a lot of little tidbits,
Yeah.
which I liked.
Well, especially with Wakanda and like Black Panther, what that's going to be like. I'm super excited for that now. Just
as
being
well
like,
as the journey of finding the Winter Soldier.
that
they
too.
did touch on that too,
Hinting that, yeah.
because that's why Sam Wilson wasn't a part of the movie, is because he was looking for
Running your errands, yeah. Much rather do that than be on the Avengers.
Missing persons case. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was talking about all that.
Oh my gosh, I didn't catch
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Oh man.
And then one thing that I wish they would have touched on a little bit more was mention of Doctor Strange a little bit more.
Yeah.
I wish they would have maybe done just a little thing. Maybe there's more that we missed and we haven't found
They
it
already
yet.
touched on that in the Winter Soldier.
No, they did touch on that in the Winter Soldier, but I wish they would have touched on that. in
Maybe
this
there was
movie.
like something in that like warehouse where everything was. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff in there.
Wait for the extended cut. Also,
Mhm.
it's a big movie in and of itself.
Right. Yeah.
I need
Yeah.
to see
There was already a ton of characters
Yeah.
in this. I don't know.
and it's like I really liked at the end though when they kind of had like, oh, so here's the new Avengers, and like the old Avengers like they're still there, but they have other things to
They're
do.
doing their own stuff. Yeah.
They're kind of like Thor has Ragnarok coming up. We all know that. Yeah, Hawkeye goes home. Like honestly, I hope we don't see Hawkeye again.
He's done.
Not because I don't like
wanna
Jeremy
see
Renner,
him
but
play like a minor role in Infinity Wars, but I don't want to see him like up until then. Yeah.
I don't want to see him in an action scene.
Right.
I
Yeah,
want to see him in a
exactly.
movie. I don't want to see him in an action scene. How about that? I don't want him to die.
Yeah. It's like everyone cares about Hawkeye now.
Yeah, and like
You
like,
done well.
he played his part, and I think his time is up. Like, we're gonna see that pretty soon. Like, I mean, these guys only have a couple more movies left on their on their contracts, and like Civil War, that's gonna clear up a lot of stuff, and then Infinity Wars, we don't even know what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Speaking of the end of the movie, I thought that they would play into Civil War more, and they didn't really at all.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
they kind of, I think, well, part of it, the destruction of the city, it will play into it. I think.
Maybe.
But like at the end, like the very end of the movie, Captain America and Iron Man, like Steve Rogers
They
and Tony
set
Stark
it
were
up.
like, "All right, buddy, love ya."
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
it was
really.
like this is where they're gonna set it up.
Like,
and they didn't.
I thought Tony Stark would be like, "Hey, this is my fault. We have to do something about like what we did." And Steve Rogers would be like, something along those lines. I know what you
Yeah.
mean.
Isn't
But-
there another Iron Man between them?
No.
Or no? Wait.
Captain America 3 is Iron Man 4, basically. It's Captain America 3, Iron Man 4.
I mean, yeah, it's Civil
Oh.
War, so it's gonna be.
Like
Yeah.
they're both main characters.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I thought they would kind of lead more into.
I thought they would too.
I think it's
into
good
Civil
to
War.
leave that like in the movie, like
Mhm.
see them change and like start to like develop whatever sides they're on.
Well, we have what Ant-Man before. Ant-Man's the only
Yeah.
only cinematic like MCU movie before.
hmm
Yeah, before Civil War. So
Yeah. Well, again, what you said, Josh, leaving it all in the movie, that again, it's helpful to play off of it from another movie. So you're already setting it up, so you don't have that portion of the story to tell as much. So yeah, I do want to see that. But the thing about the Marvel Cinematic Universe is like they play off of each other so well because they're all connected. So we already get tastes of what the next movie is going to be like, tastes of like what the next movie is going to be about from all these other films, which is, it makes it fun to watch them, and it makes it like, oh, and then we get to speculate on what's going to happen.
I think it would have been smart for them to add more going into Civil War, because then people would have been like, oh, this is an interesting conflict. I want to know more. Oh, there's a new movie coming out called Civil War? Oh, that's probably what I was thinking about.
I have a feeling that that's another part that may have got cut, just because like
Yeah,
it wouldn't
maybe.
have played well into like the satisfaction of the ending of the movie.
There were 2 points that I wanted to touch on that might have been like smaller parts that led into Civil War. First was the like I mentioned before, the woodcutting scene between.
I thought that they were going to do that, like, and everyone thought like, oh, when they saw that clip, like, oh, Civil War, but they talked about Ultron.
Yeah.
Like they didn't really talk about
anything bigger
Yeah.
than that. Then there was one more thing that I wanted to mention, was that at the beginning when somebody mentioned to Tony Stark, they're like, "You're the boss," and he's like, "Nope, that guy is," and pointed to
just
Captain America, kind of.
buy everything, make everyone look cool.
Yeah, and design
So
all of the.
you see a grudge developing.
I don't know. I think
Even
well,
that, I thought in the trailers when he said that, or the clip they showed, I'm like, oh, it's leading into Civil War. But again, it was just more playful than it actually was. So
I mean, it could develop into something more, but
Yeah.
they really could have made it more obvious.
And I like the one thing that they did say during the woodcutting scene that kind of brought up to Civil War, I thought, was when Tony Stark was like, "I don't trust anyone who doesn't have a dark side." And he's kind of saying that to Steve because Steve's, the Boy Scout of America.
Oh yeah, they were really like hinting at like his dark side, and like you couldn't even really tell from his
Scarlet Witch Nightmare.
Yeah, Scarlet Witch Nightmare, but it's just like you could tell like there's something growing in him that he's not proud of.
And I would love to see Captain America in Civil War, kind of like he was in Civil War in the comics, because in the comics he's Captain America and he's fighting the good fight, but he's using a little bit of like I don't know, like you see his dark side a little bit. I guess that's just the best way to explain it. Like he works with Kingpin to totally screw over Tony Stark. They plant a spy in Iron
take
Man,
it easy here. I'm reading that right now.
I'm just very, very, just like they do things where you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't think Captain America would do that. So I would enjoy to see that side where it's like, yeah, he's still like he's doing whatever he find a way to win, basically.
Well, they didn't tease Civil War, but they teased the Infinity Gauntlet at the end.
Oh, for sure.
It's like, wait a minute. You're skipping the next movie and just cutting to the movie that's 2 or 3 years from now?
Well, so did the first Avengers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like 6 years.
Yeah, but that was more big picture. It was just like, who is this guy that's kind of smiling, controlling everything? This is more.
I think Thanos may be playing a role. Like maybe you'll see more glimpses of him in other storylines.
Well, we've seen Thanos a few times.
Yeah, we've seen him in
we
Guardians.
saw him at the end of the Avengers, and that was a while ago. But we saw the Infinity Gauntlet, like what the movie's going to be about.
Well, I don't know if the first part of like Infinity War Part 1 is going to be him getting the stones, or like he might get the stones in he might get one of the stones in the second Guardians of the Galaxy. That's pretty close. Like that's like a movie or two away.
You're like, he's going to get stones. Thinking of kidney stones.
that is how Thanos dies. Kidney stones.
No wonder why he's so cranky.
Yeah, he's got some serious. Maybe
So
that's where all the Infinity
gems.
Stones
So
came
Maybe
from.
that's why the Mind Stone's yellow.
So speaking of Thanos, I know I've mentioned this to you guys, but I have a slight theory, or it's kind of like some possibilities that
Extreme speculation is what I would call
All
it.
right.
Well, first I just want
Speculations.
to like clear things up about the scepter.
Loki's scepter.
Well, it wasn't Loki's to begin with. He was given it by Thanos. Thanos gave the scepter to Loki.
Where did you find that information?
It's a
Because
good
the stuff that
question.
I read about that is not in other places too.
If it didn't come from Joss Whedon's mouth or Kevin Feige or in the movies, I don't actually think I'm going to believe it.
No.
Yeah, because all we know,
Continue
Loki's
with your
scepter could have come from the Chitauri or something.
yeah.
Like that.
Continue with your theory.
Anyways, so in the first Avengers, they mentioned that the blue stone that was in the scepter was using Tesseract energy.
Yeah.
And so what I was thinking of is that the Tesseract was used to like power different types of weapons, and so it was combined with the Mind Stone, which is actually hidden under the layer of the blue stone. I don't know what's the different layers, but it's combining the two stones' energy to create a super device. And one thing, the Tesseract could transport people, if you remember. That's like what they use it for.
It's the Space Stone.
Right, it's a space stone. So, the scepter allowed people to communicate over any distance.
I see with your Tesseract energy thing, like I feel like the Tesseract energy is the same energy that all the stones would emit. Like they're saying like like, oh, this special kind of energy, we'd have never seen it before, but it's coming from the Tesseract, so we'll call it Tesseract energy. You know, like,
And yeah, that's a possibility as well.
I don't think it has anything to do with it.
Keep going though.
All right, so where was I? So you can communicate with the scepter. Any fact like
Thanos can communicate with the scepter because he made it.
Yeah, and as you remember, the scepter it made people like think dark thoughts or like do get violent.
There's the Mind Stones in it.
Yeah, because in Avengers 1, you had Tony Stark and
Bruce
Banner, and they were getting heated. So
Bruce Banner, who also already gets kind of angry, who has a temper, we know that, and he grabbed it and then was getting angry. I'm just saying.
Wait, you don't think it was a part
If anything, I think that the Mind Stone is almost like the One Ring, where it draws people in towards it.
Yeah.
Like, what Loki's obsessed with it because, well, one, it's powerful, and two, maybe it's got that thing
And
to it.
another thing is, like, when you're saying that it makes them think dark thoughts, that could just be Loki being, okay, I control you, go get this. Go kill these people. Go do this.
And here's my point. If Loki can do that, why couldn't Thanos
he has
do it?
the scepter, though. That's
'cause
why he
Loki
can do
had
that.
But Loki didn't have the scepter in the ship.
In
right?
the Avengers Tower, is that what you're talking
No,
about?
when they were in the floating, that's where it was, right? I'm
No,
talking about
He
Avengers
had
1.
Yes, he had the scepter. They had the scepter in the room where they were working, and then Bruce Banner picked it up. He's like, put the stick down. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So
But
if
we have to factor in-
if Loki could somehow influence
I
them,
don't think he was, though.
Yeah. I don't-
but I'm just saying because Dan, you had said that may have been what it was.
No, I said that for Hawkeye and all those other people.
That.
He was like, hey, go kill these people, go do this. No, like, I think Matt brought up a good point of, like, no, he's
already
a rage
prone
monster.
to like having a temper, like, and yeah, he's unstable as it is. And I think the Mind Stone was like, okay, if this guy's ready to break, I want him to break me so I can get out there. And you know, the Mind Stone's like, I want to draw the other stones to me because that's what they do. They draw each other to them.
Mm-hmm. And I think, because you were talking about how you think that's how Ultron was made.
Yes, I was getting to that. So, if Thanos was able to use the scepter, if he somehow could like affect the gem inside, and if he could somehow affect that, part of him or part of his intentions could be what became Ultron.
But we saw so much of the Tony Stark in Ultron.
Yes, and I'm not saying Tony Stark wasn't a huge influence. I'm saying that part of Ultron is part of like Thanos' influence.
I don't
just
think I don't
that
see
at
that at
all.
all, though.
See, I think that's just reading really far into it. And also, like,
Because you had mentioned you would not think that if they didn't like flash the Thanos clip at the end when he's like, "Fine, I'll do it myself."
And for that, like if that was Thanos saying, "Oh, Ultron, you failed. I'll do it myself," like Ultron never once was like, "Oh, I need the Infinity Stones." Like he had one and he put it into Vision.
I'm not saying that he was controlling him at all. I'm just saying that like what may have like turned Ultron bad could have been Thanos.
What turned Ultron bad was
he was a mistake. He was a glitch. He was an AI that they couldn't.
But I'm saying that could have
right
been the glitch.
I don't think so.
The like evil that was pervading into.
I don't even think that it
programming.
was like the glitch things. It was like him. You think about it, the world would be a better place without humans.
Right.
Logically speaking, as far as the world's
ecosystem.
Living on.
Yeah, right.
It'd be better without humans, and that's like, oh, they showed it, like he was feeding through the internet, like, well, this makes sense.
And that was the whole speech with the Vision at the end, and he said that, he's like, humans are probably going to screw over the world, but isn't it something beautiful within that chaos, within that destruction? Beautiful things aren't supposed to last forever, and that's what I think was what, like, Ultron was. He wasn't just... Because Thanos wants to destroy everything. He doesn't want a world full of Ultrons. He wants the world destroyed.
Like Thanos loves like death, not like he likes the
married
idea of
death.
like Thanos loves the person of death. Like death is like a person in the Marvel universe, not just the cinematic universe. It's like Thanos has like an obsession, like he stalks death. Like that's why he's doing this, is because part of him kind of wants to die. Like he wants death so he can be with death. Like,
another thing is like Ultron could be having like a watered down version of what that is, in a way. I mean, I know this is like really far up, but I'm just saying like Thanos is a very powerful being, even without the Infinity Stones. Like he was Odin level at a point.
Powerful enough that Gamora left him. I don't see that. I don't see where you're tying, because Gamora was like his daughter, right?
Well,
adopted daughter. But if he could control, like Ultron and these other people,
I'm not saying that he controlled them. I'm saying that.
And
I'm saying that he used the scepter to have influence throughout.
Wouldn't he have influenced Gamora then in some way, shape, or
he
form?
He didn't have the scepter yet, maybe.
He definitely would have in this timeline.
I don't know when he had it or when he didn't.
But just being around Thanos, I'm assuming if the scepter was around Thanos.
It's just Ultron, I think, is
I don't know.
Separate.
I don't really know the Gamora thing.
No, neither do I. And that's
like, is that part of the Marvel universe, cinematic universe at this point?
Gamora being with Thanos' adopted daughter. Yeah, they said that.
Oh, that's okay. That is right.
It happened in Guardians of the Galaxy.
And so I'm just saying that that's just as much of an indication that your theory is wrong as what you're saying is your theory is right. That's I mean, we can pull stuff out of thin air if we want to, but interesting theory. But I don't agree with that.
Another thing I was thinking of is that he can observe through the scepter. And so what I was thinking is...
No, the Tesseract can do that.
What?
Too. Like the Space Stone. The Scepter, the Mind Stone, you can go to one place between one being. That whoever owns the Thanos can't be like, well, I think I'll talk to whoever has the Scepter right now. No, whoever has the Scepter can go to whoever they want to talk to. That's why he went to the other, which is the weird dude with the freaking 3 thumbs or whatever. 3 thumbs up. You guys were wrong, so okay. Well. And that's why he didn't even go to Thanos. He went to the other, like, yeah.
Okay, so he can somehow see what's going on with the scepter through the other. Is that what you're saying?
No.
Or
whoever has the Mind Stone can go speak telepathically or whatever it is with whomever they want.
It's not the other way around. Somebody can't just do it with the Mind Stone.
So Thanos can't be like, again, well, I think Loki has the scepter. I think I'll talk to him right now. And then...
And like, I think we saw this in Avengers when Thanos was like, I gave you the scepter. You know, he wasn't just like, I'm using you. He's like, I gave it to you. You know, and like, it didn't seem like he was using him. I don't think there's that really a lot of evidence to see that Thanos is behind the whole scheme of things.
Yeah.
You know, I think
It's just less of him planning and more of him seeing like what happens.
Again, even when they draw it from the comics, in the comics it's not anything to do with that. And I understand, like, yeah, they play the Infinity Gems in with it, but
because that's the end game.
Yeah, that's what they're exactly. But in the comics, like, they nailed it, Ultron pretty much with that intention. Like, he sees, like, when they go into the future to try and destroy Ultron, the world's beautiful. And, like, it's lush, it's flourishing, and then there's this golden city that he, constructed that's probably, I don't know, the only one. I mean, they don't mention it, but, like, it's just, like, this beautiful, lush planet. Free of humans because he conquered everything. So, again, that intention of him, like, well, I was designed for
peace,
to save the world,
right.
For peace. But there's no peace with you people on here.
Right.
I see that now. And that's where that evil, it's a misinterpreted evil in his eyes. And that's what Vision was talking about in the end.
And that's also what changed Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver to turn into Avengers, is that misconception of his original design, or that good turned evil, taking it too far. I don't see Ultron I don't see Thanos behind Ultron at all. It's just
No, I definitely don't believe that Thanos thought that Ultron would be a thing. I'm just saying that it was a.
Well, then what?
No, his plan wasn't to create Ultron. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that something from the stone that was from Thanos's that came from Thanos became Ultron. Like just a part of
No,
him.
I don't.
The thing is that Thanos doesn't have the stones predate Thanos.
But Thanos had it for a while.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that part of him's with it.
He's not that powerful.
Yeah, he's
where
not
he can be
powerful.
like, this stone is...
The stone is more powerful than, like...
But it also gets influenced by the user, right?
No.
Oh, no.
Not the stone.
It's a living thing. The stone. I mean, the stone. It's
The stone
basically
can-
like a mind in itself.
The stone is a weapon. Like if let's just say Matt has a gun and he shoots me with
Bang,
a gun, you can't say that, like, oh,
Bang.
the gun shot me
Bang, bang.
because the gun wanted to shoot me because Matt had it. You know what I mean?
Right,
But,
yeah.
like,
No.
You're getting her
Way
after
too
the
much.
theater.
And the thing is that also, you're like, oh no, I don't think that Thanos wanted Ultron to happen. Well, then why would he say, okay, fine, I'll do it myself, if he didn't plan for that to happen?
No, he gave the scepter to Loki.
Yeah?
He knew.
We're not even sure about that.
He gave him an army of Chitauri warriors.
No,
that was
Or is that
the other.
the other.
Oh, they changed it, didn't they?
No.
That's how it always was.
No, I mean like from the comics.
That wasn't a
that
comic.
was completely
was-
separate too, I think. Well, they were talking about the scrolls, I think. That might have been what the
Maybe.
Chitauri were based off of. But completely
That
separate
was,
thing.
it
entirely
was like
too.
these movies, they're Joss Whedon stories. Like, they're based off comics to some degree, and they have comics in them, but they're Joss Whedon stories. So, but we should probably finish up.
What did you guys think about Ulysses Claw? Quickly.
I liked it. The only thing I didn't like is that Black Panther is supposed to be the one who cuts his arm off. That's why he hates Black Panther. So that kind of, they'll have to somehow, because Ulysses Claw is a Black Panther villain, so they somehow have to rekindle why he hates Black Panther.
It might be from the previous interaction before the movie happened.
Yeah.
We don't know.
So
Yay, cool, Andy Serkis.
Yeah.
he was great. I loved the
He-
whole
for
part.
the small part that he was on screen, he's great. He was probably the best part about that scene.
I really liked when he was like, "You are really bad at like."
Intimidating.
Intimidation's like, this must be your first time because you guys don't know how to do this. And then the Ultron just comes out and it's really cool. So
Yeah, he's like, I want to talk to the man, and like, there's no man.
yeah.
I also liked how quick he's like, anybody want a candy? Candy? No. And then Quicksilver later just grabs one and is just like, yeah, I want a candy.
Yeah.
Great movie. Go watch it.
Amazing movie.
We're gonna watch it again.
We loved it. And we're all going to watch it again
Tomorrow.
And probably again at some other point in time.
All right. All right. The other was working for Thanos.
Yeah, but he's still separate. A separate entity from Thanos.
But okay, I'm
Thanos,
saying
Loki, and the other were all working together.
Yeah.
It was
yes,
an
okay.
alliance.
Then my thing with the scepter and everything still makes sense, right?
No.
Well, I mean, not
Never made sense.
everything. But I mean, like he gave. It was essentially Thanos gave the scepter to Loki, but
Yeah.
Loki, the other was.
He can't influence anybody who has the scepter, though. He's not that powerful, is what we're saying, and you can't control the stones. The Infinity Stones
when
can't
you
be
came
controlled
out
by
of
one
the
being.
theater, you were
He
hung up
didn't
on
control-
the AI that it is has got a mind of its
Okay.
own.
The blue part, right? That's what created Ultron, right?
He was trying to tap into the stone. It wasn't controlling.
It wasn't
the
the
stone.
Mind Stone itself. It was what was surrounding it. Correct.
Yes.
That was what became Ultron.
And you think that Ultron was a
but
little
who
computer
made-
hacker and designed this
No.
mystic?
He wasn't. The people far beyond dated that. They created that. They created the pre-Ultron
And
program.
No, they didn't.
No.
No.
The Ultron program was Tony Stark.
What?
Yeah.
Well, wait, what?
Yes.
The Ultron. They mentioned it before the Mind Stone was even discovered.
What? Okay, so I remember there's that scene. Who cares? There's that scene where he was comparing. What's his AI? I can't remember. Jarvis versus the other thing.
But do you remember when he pulled that out and he was like, "Hey, look at this." He's like, "You know what this makes me think of? Ultron."
This makes me think of artificial
They
intelligence.
mentioned it.
He's like, we could. This will finally help us make Ultron.
We can use this.
That's what
we can use this.
That's
to
his
Ultron was an
design.
idea before.
I know the other moving thing that was next to Jarvis. That is what I think that Thanos had an influence on.
No.
There's no way to do that. Yeah.
But
Anyways.
that's my theory, guys. Let me know what you think.
Everybody comment.
Everyone here doesn't
and-
like me, so they yeah.
No, it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with your theory. Ugh. Okay.
Anyways, that was this show.
Go watch this movie.
Avengers
It's
is
incredible.
great.
It's great.
See you next week. I'm Matt Muich, the Holocron Keeper.
I am Nick Vittorio. Thor and Cap team up. Yeah. Changing it up.
I am Josh.
And I'm Dan, the man. Now I'm 40.
Gosh.
All right, guys. See you next time. God bless.